The boy worked in darkness, tools barely functional, hands bleeding from cuts. 6 nights he'd labored over the abandoned motorcycle, teaching himself as he went. When Reaper returned expecting to find his bike destroyed, he found it perfectly restored, a note in childish handwriting. "Fixed your bike. Hope it takes you somewhere happy. A friend." Reaper stared at security footage, showing a skinny kid from the crumbling orphanage across the street, working miracles with garbage. He made one call: "Brothers, we have a debt to pay." By dawn, 700 motorcycles filled the orphanage parking lot. Marcus Williams was 14 years old and invisible. He lived at St. Michael's Orphanage in Oakland, California, a decaying building that housed 30 kids nobody wanted. The orphanage was a disaster. Roof leaked, plumbing barely worked, heat inconsistent, food scarce. Mrs. Henderson, the director, tried her best with almost no funding, but best wasn't enough. Marcus had been there since he was 6. His mother died of an overdose. No father listed, no relatives claimed him. He became a ward of the state, shuffled to St. Michael's, where he'd spent 8 years watching the building crumble around him. School was hard. Marcus was smart, but struggled to focus. Hunger made concentration difficult, so did the cold and the hopelessness. But Marcus had one escape: mechanics. He loved machines, how they worked, how parts fit together, how broken things could be fixed. He'd found his passion at 9, discovering a broken radio in the trash. He took it apart, studied it, put it back together. It worked. That feeling, creating function from dysfunction, was addictive. Since then, Marcus spent every free moment in the orphanage basement, a forgotten space Mrs. Henderson let him use. He collected junk from dumpsters, salvage yards, anywhere, took apart everything, learned by doing. By 14, Marcus could fix almost anything electronic or mechanical: radios, fans, small engines. He'd taught himself using library books and YouTube videos, watched on a cracked phone he'd repaired. "You're wasting time," other kids told him. "That junk won't get you anywhere." "Maybe," Marcus replied, "but it keeps me sane." Tuesday afternoon, Marcus walked home from school, took the alley behind the orphanage, shortcut he always used. That's when he saw it. A motorcycle. Beautiful, even damaged. Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. 1990s model. Chrome dulled, paint scratched, but the bones were solid. It was abandoned, left in the alley, clearly broken down. No note, no owner visible. Marcus approached carefully, checked around, nobody watching. He examined the bike. Engine trouble. Electrical issues, carburetor problems, but fixable, definitely fixable. Marcus looked at the orphanage, at his basement workshop full of salvaged parts, at this magnificent machine somebody had abandoned. "I could fix this," he whispered. "I could actually fix this." He knew he shouldn't. It wasn't his, but it was abandoned, left for trash. And Marcus couldn't stand seeing broken things when he knew how to fix them. Decision made. Over the next 6 nights, Marcus worked in secret. He couldn't move the bike. Too heavy, too visible. So he worked in the alley after dark, brought tools from his basement, parts cobbled from lawnmowers, generators, anything useful he'd saved. Night 1, diagnostics, engine seized, needed complete teardown. Night 2, disassembly, every bolt, every piece laid out methodically. Night 3, cleaning, hours scrubbing carbon buildup, rust, grime. Night 4, reassembly, pistons, valves, timing, using salvaged parts that somehow fit. Night 5, electrical, rewiring with copper he'd stripped from old appliances, soldering with the iron he'd built himself. Night 6, testing, carburetor adjustment, fuel system, ignition. Marcus's hands were cut, bleeding. His back ached, he was exhausted, but at 2 a.m. on the 7th night he turned the key. The engine roared to life, perfect, smooth, beautiful. Marcus almost cried. He'd done it. With garbage and determination, he'd resurrected a dead machine. He shut it off quickly, didn't want to wake anyone, cleaned up his tools, then pulled out a piece of paper and a pencil. In his careful handwriting, "Fixed your bike. Hope it takes you somewhere happy. A friend." He tucked the note under the seat. Then went to bed, satisfied. What Marcus didn't know, That bike belonged to Reaper, vice president of the Hells Angels Oakland chapter. Reaper had broken down a week ago, left the bike planning to return with a tow truck. Life got busy. He'd planned to retrieve it this weekend. When Reaper returned Saturday morning with a trailer, he expected to find his bike vandalized or stripped for parts. That's what happened in rough neighborhoods. Instead, he found it spotless, running, perfect. Reaper stared, checked the engine, turned the key. It started immediately, purring like new. What the hell? He found the note. Read it 3 times. Fixed your bike. Hope it takes you somewhere happy. No name, no demand for payment, just kindness. Reaper was confused. He was a Hell's Angel. People feared him. Nobody did nice things for him without wanting something. He looked around. Across the street, St. Michael's Orphanage, falling apart. Kids playing in a yard with broken equipment. He approached an old man sitting on a nearby stoop. "Sir, you see anyone messing with that motorcycle this week?" Kid from the orphanage. Skinny black kid. Spent every night working on it. Thought he was vandalizing, but he was fixing it. Talented kid. Used nothing but trash and made that thing run. Reaper's respect grew. A kid, an orphan, fixed his bike using garbage, asked for nothing. "Thank you, sir." Reaper rode back to the clubhouse, called a meeting. 30 Hells Angels assembled. "Brothers, I need to show you something." He displayed security camera footage he'd obtained from a nearby business. Grainy video showed Marcus, small, thin, working alone in darkness, using pathetic tools, bleeding hands, never giving up. The room was silent. "That kid spent 6 nights fixing my bike, with garbage. He's 14, lives in that orphanage across the street. Place is falling apart. And this kid who has nothing fixed my bike and asked for nothing back." "Tank," the sergeant-at-arms spoke. "What do you want to do?" "I want to pay this debt. Kid showed honor, heart, skill. We reward that. Who's with me?" 30 hands raised. "Good. Here's the plan." Reaper made calls to every Hells Angels chapter within 500 miles. Told Marcus's story, showed the video. "Oakland chapter is mobilizing. Who's in?" The response was overwhelming. 12 chapters, 700 bikers, all pledging support. "We're riding Sunday, dawn, St. Michael's Orphanage. We're fixing it, properly, completely, and we're making sure that kid knows we saw what he did." The clubs raised money. $50,000 in 18 hours. Contacts were leveraged. Plumbers, electricians, contractors, all Hells Angels or allies. Materials donated or purchased at cost. "This is a debt of honor," Reaper told everyone. "Kid gave everything to help a stranger. We give everything to help him." Sunday dawn, Marcus woke to a sound he'd never heard. Deep rumbling, growing, shaking the building. He went to the window. Froze. The street was filled with motorcycles, hundreds. All Hells Angels, riders dismounting, unloading trucks full of supplies, lumber, paint, tools, food. Mrs. Henderson came running. "What's happening? Why are there bikers here?" Reaper approached the building, knocked. Mrs. Henderson answered, terrified. "Can I help you?" "Ma'am, I'm Reaper, Vice President Oakland Hells Angels. We're here to help. This building is falling apart. We're fixing it today. All of it. I don't understand. One of your kids fixed my motorcycle. Didn't ask for payment. Didn't ask for recognition. Just fixed it out of kindness. That's honor. We're honoring him back. And this whole place, where is he?" Marcus stepped forward, shaking. "I fixed the bike. I'm sorry if I shouldn't have." Reaper knelt to eye level. "Kid, what's your name?" "Marcus. Marcus Williams." "Marcus, I'm Reaper. That was my bike. You brought it back from the dead with garage scraps and skill. You know how rare that is? That talent. I just like fixing things. You did more than fix things. You showed character. You didn't strip it for parts, didn't ask for money, just fixed it and hoped it made me happy. That's honor, kid. Real honor. And honor gets rewarded." He stood, addressing Mrs. Henderson and the 30 kids now gathered. "We're the Hells Angels. We know our reputation, but we have a code: loyalty, honor, protecting the vulnerable. This kid showed all 3. So did this orphanage, taking in kids nobody wants. Today, we fix everything: roof, plumbing, electric, heat. We're bringing food, clothes, supplies, whatever you need, because Marcus earned it. And you all deserve better. The bikers got to work. Organized chaos. Contractors climbed to the roof, tearing off shingles. Plumbers crawled under sinks. Electricians rewired panels. Painters prepped walls. Marcus watched in shock. I don't understand. I just fixed a bike. Tank, working on the plumbing, looked at him. Kid, you spent 6 nights with bleeding hands fixing something for a stranger. You used garbage and made a miracle. That's not just anything. That's exceptional. We see you. We're making sure you're seen. By noon, transformation was visible. New roof sections, working toilets, lights that didn't flicker, walls painted bright colors. The kitchen received industrial appliances, donated top-of-the-line, stoves, refrigerators, freezers. A chef, biker from the San Jose chapter, stocked them with food, real food, meat, vegetables, bread, milk. Kids shouldn't be hungry, he said simply. The basement, Marcus's workshop, received a complete overhaul. New tools, real tools, professional grade, donated by members who owned shops. This is yours, Reaper told Marcus. Your workshop. We're setting it up properly. You've got talent. We're investing in it. Marcus cried. I don't deserve this. Yes, you do. You proved it. By evening, St. Michael's was transformed, structurally sound, clean, warm, full of supplies. The kids had new clothes, new shoes, new toys. Mrs. Henderson was overwhelmed. I don't know how to thank you. Raise these kids right, Reaper said. Give them chances, especially Marcus. That kid's special. A reporter had arrived. Word spread about 700 bikers descending on an orphanage. The story aired that night. Hell's Angels rebuild orphanage after boy fixes member's bike. The video showed Marcus's security footage, alone, working with trash, never giving up. It went viral. National news picked it up. Acts of kindness. Spark massive response. Donations poured in. Within days, St. Michael's had $200,000 in an account. Enough for years of operation, but the Hells Angels weren't done. Reaper visited Marcus weekly, not checking up, mentoring. Kid, you've got mechanical skills most adults don't have. That's your future, but you need training, real training. I can't afford... Not asking you to. I run a custom motorcycle shop. You're hired after school, weekends. I'll teach you everything. Pays $15 an hour. Sound good? Marcus couldn't believe it. Really? Really? But there's conditions. You keep your grades up. You stay out of trouble. You work hard. Deal? Deal! Marcus started the next week. The shop, Iron Brotherhood Customs, was impressive. High-end bikes, professional equipment. Skilled mechanics. At first, the other mechanics were skeptical. A 14-year-old orphan. But Marcus proved himself quickly. He was careful, precise, intuitive. He understood machines. Kids are natural, one mechanic admitted. Faster learner than most adults I've trained. Marcus thrived. School improved. He had motivation now, purpose. Grades rose from D's to B's. He stopped getting into fights. Focused. St. Michael's transformed too. With proper funding and structure, Mrs. Henderson hired staff. Real teachers, counselors. The kids flourished. Several Hells Angels adopted kids from the orphanage. We're not all family men, Tank explained, but seeing these kids, they deserve families. Some of us can provide that. 5 children found permanent homes with Angels members. Marcus was offered adoption by Reaper. I know you're 14, almost grown, but if you want a family, I'm offering. You'd be my son, legally, permanently. Marcus was torn. I appreciate it, but can I think about it? Course. No pressure. Either way, your family. Adoption just makes it official. After a month, Marcus decided, I want to stay at St. Michael's, but I want you as my mentor. My uncle, maybe. I feel responsible to the other kids here. Like if I leave, I'm abandoning them. Reaper respected that. That's honorable, Marcus. Shows loyalty. I like it. Uncle Reaper it is. Marcus continued working at the shop. His skills grew exponentially. By 15, he was rebuilding engines solo. By 16, customizing bikes for paying customers. "You're better than mechanics twice your age," Reaper told him. "You've got a gift." At 17, Marcus won a regional custom bike competition. His creation, a Harley built from salvage parts and innovative design, took first place. The prize was $10,000. Marcus donated it all to St. Michael's. "Why?" Mrs. Henderson asked, crying. "You could use that for college. This place gave me everything. You gave me everything. When I had nothing, you didn't give up on me. I'm not giving up on St. Michael's, ever." The Hells Angels were impressed. "Kid's got loyalty in his DNA," Tank observed. "That's rare." At 18, Marcus graduated high school with honors, accepted to a technical college with a full scholarship, funded by the Hells Angels Education Trust. "Mechanical engineering," Marcus told Reaper. "I want to design motorcycles, create things, like you taught me. Proud of you, kid. Go show the world what you can do." Marcus attended college but returned every weekend to work at the shop, to mentor younger kids at St. Michael's, to give back. At 22, Marcus graduated. Degree in mechanical engineering. Job offers from major manufacturers, but he chose differently. "I'm opening my own shop here in Oakland, custom bikes, but also teaching. I want to train kids like me, kids from rough backgrounds who have talent but no opportunity." Reaper helped fund it. Marcus's Garage, custom bikes and second chances. It opened in a renovated warehouse donated by an Angels supporter. Marcus hired 5 apprentices, all from St. Michael's or similar backgrounds, all talented, all needing chances. "I was given an opportunity," Marcus told them. "Now I'm giving you the same. Work hard, stay honest, build something beautiful." The shop thrived. Marcus's designs were innovative. His apprentices became skilled mechanics. Several went on to major careers. At 25, Marcus was featured in a motorcycle magazine. From Orphan to Innovator, Marcus Williams's story. The article detailed everything. His childhood, fixing Reaper's bike with trash, the Hells Angels' response, his rise. "I don't see my past as disadvantage," Marcus said in the interview. "I see it as training. I learned to create from nothing. That's valuable. The Hells Angels taught me that honor matters, that helping others creates community, that generosity multiplies. I'm living those lessons." At 30, Marcus stood at St. Michael's anniversary celebration. The orphanage was thriving, state-of-the-art facility, 50 kids, excellent care, and every kid had access to Marcus's shop, learning mechanics, finding purpose. 16 years ago, I fixed a broken motorcycle with garbage, Marcus told the crowd. I didn't know it belonged to a Hells Angel. Didn't know 700 bikers would show up to rebuild this place. I just saw something broken and wanted to fix it. He looked at Reaper, now 68, and retired. That impulse changed my life, not because of what I did, because of how they responded. The Hells Angels saw a kid nobody noticed. They didn't just fix a building. They fixed futures, mine, these kids, dozens more. That's the power of community seeing and responding to generosity. Reaper stood, applauding. The crowd joined. 700 people celebrating transformation. Marcus showed us what matters, Reaper said. Not what you have, what you do with it. He had nothing but heart and skill. Used both to help a stranger. We had resources and brotherhood. Used both to help him. That's the cycle. Generosity, recognizing generosity. Creating more generosity. That's how we change the world, one act at a time. Marcus's story spread, became legend in the Hells Angels community. The kid who fixed Reaper's bike. But it was more than legend. It was proof that generosity transforms, that small acts create massive ripples, that broken things, bikes, buildings, lives, can be fixed by people willing to work with whatever they have. Marcus proved it. The Hells Angels honored it, and countless kids benefited from it. All because a 14-year-old orphan saw a broken motorcycle and thought, I can fix that. Sometimes that's all it takes, seeing what's broken, having courage to help, using whatever you have. The rest, Community takes care of the rest. Marcus learned that. Now he teaches it. One broken thing at a time, one generous act at a time, forever, and transforms lives. At 35, Marcus had become a prominent figure in Oakland. His shop employed 23 people, most from disadvantaged backgrounds he'd personally trained. His custom motorcycles were sought after nationally, with waiting lists stretching months. But Marcus never forgot his roots. Every Saturday, he taught free mechanics classes at St. Michael's, 50 kids rotating through his program annually. "Mr. Williams, why do you do this?" a new student asked. "You're successful. You could relax." "Oh, because someone invested in me when I had nothing. Reaper saw potential where others saw poverty. Now I see potential everywhere. You kids are the future. I'm just helping you build it." The Hells Angels remained deeply involved. They'd established the Marcus Williams Scholarship Fund, providing full rides to technical schools for orphans showing mechanical aptitude. 15 recipients so far, all thriving. Reaper, now 73 and dealing with health issues, still visited the shop weekly. His mobility was limited, but his mind sharp. "Marcus, you've done exactly what I hoped. Taken your pain and created purpose. Helped others the way you were helped. That's legacy. You created that legacy. I'm just continuing it." "No, kid. You expanded it. I fixed a building. You're fixing futures." Big difference. Marcus had married at 30, Elena, a social worker at St. Michael's. They had 2 children, David, age 3, and Sophia, age 1. "I want them to understand struggle," Marcus told Elena, "not experience it, but understand it, so they value what they have and help others." David already showed mechanical interest. At 3, he helped Marcus at the shop, handing him tools and watching intently. "Just like you at his age," Reaper observed, finding purpose in machines. At 37, Marcus received an invitation to speak at a national conference on youth development. 5,000 attendees, educators, social workers, policymakers. His speech was powerful. "I was invisible, a poor black kid in a crumbling orphanage. Nobody expected anything from me. Then I fixed a motorcycle with garbage, not because I wanted recognition, because I saw something broken and had the skills to fix it. That act revealed me. 700 bikers showed up because they recognized something I didn't see in myself. Value. They invested in that value. Gave me tools, training, opportunity. I became who they believed I could be." He paused, emotional. "How many invisible kids are out there right now? Kids with talent but no opportunity, skills but no tools, potential but no investors. We miss them because we don't look. The Hells Angels looked, they saw, they acted. That's what transformed me. Not charity, recognition, investment, belief. Every kid deserves someone who believes in them, who invests, who says, 'I see your potential and I'm betting on it.' That's what creates change. That's what creates futures." Standing ovation. Multiple organizations approached afterward, wanting to replicate Marcus's model. Within a year, Marcus's method was implemented in 12 cities, garage-based programs teaching mechanics to at-risk youth, funded partially by Hells Angels chapters, partially by community donations. "You've started a movement," Elena told him, "just like Reaper started one for you. That's how it works. One act inspires another. Ripples spreading outward, forever." At 40, Marcus faced a crisis. St. Michael's was threatened with closure, budget cuts. The state wanted to consolidate, moving kids to larger facilities. "They'll close us," Mrs. Henderson, now 80 and still director, told Marcus. "Everything we've built, gone." Marcus refused to accept it. "We saved this place once. We'll save it again." He organized a meeting. Hells Angels leadership, community leaders, donors, media. St. Michael's isn't just an orphanage. It's proof that investment in vulnerable communities works. These kids thrive here. Closing it wastes 16 years of progress and condemns future kids to worse situations. He presented data. St. Michael's graduation rate 93%, college attendance 70%, employment 100% within a year of aging out. Compare that to state averages. We're not just meeting standards. We're exceeding them dramatically because this place cares, because community surrounds these kids. Closing St. Michael's isn't cost-cutting, it's destroying success. The Hells Angels pledged $500,000. We'll keep it open ourselves if necessary, Reaper announced. This place saved Marcus. Marcus saved hundreds more. We're not letting it die. Community donations flooded in. Local businesses committed ongoing support. Within weeks, $2 million was raised. The state relented. St. Michael's would remain open, funded securely for the next decade. Marcus stood in the renovated common room, the same space where he'd watched 700 bikers arrive 26 years earlier. This place gave me life. I'll defend it with mine. At 45, Marcus received devastating news. Reaper had late-stage cancer, months left. Marcus visited daily, sat with the man who'd changed everything. "I'm not afraid," Reaper said weakly. "I've lived fully, no regrets, especially about you, kid. You were my greatest success. You were my father in every way that mattered. And you were my son, my pride, my proof that one act of recognition can change the world. Thank you for being worth the investment. Thank you for making the investment." Reaper died surrounded by family, biological and chosen. Marcus was there, holding his hand. At the funeral, 2,000 bikers attended. Marcus gave the eulogy. "Reaper taught me that honor recognizes honor, that generosity deserves generosity, that investments in people pay infinite returns. 27 years ago, I fixed his bike with trash. He responded by fixing my life with community. That trade was uneven. I got so much more. But that's Reaper's lesson. You give more than you receive. You invest beyond what's owed. You believe in people before they believe in themselves. Reaper, you saw a poor kid and created a man, a businessman, a husband, a father, a mentor to hundreds. That's your legacy. Not the motorcycle club, not the shop, me, and everyone I've helped. That's immortality." The Hells Angels saluted their fallen brother. Marcus placed a wrench, the first tool Reaper had given him, in the casket. "Take this. You gave it to me. I'm returning it, with gratitude for everything it represented. Opportunity, investment, belief. Thank you for everything." 5 years after Reaper's death, Marcus stood at St. Michael's 50th anniversary celebration. The orphanage had become a model institution, featured in documentaries, studied by academics, replicated nationally. 50 years of caring for forgotten children. Marcus addressed 500 attendees. 32 years since 700 bikers showed up because one kid fixed a motorcycle. That day changed everything, not just for me, for every kid who's come through here since. He gestured to the crowd. Dozens of former St. Michael's residents, now adults, successful. We're teachers, mechanics, nurses, business owners. We're parents raising children with the values this place taught us. We're proof that investment in vulnerable communities works. Mrs. Henderson, now 96 and in a wheelchair, smiled. "Marcus, you became everything I hoped, but more. You've helped so many others become their best too. You gave me foundation. Reaper gave me opportunity. I'm just passing it forward." Marcus's children, David, now 20, and Sophia, 18, both worked at Marcus's garage, both mechanical prodigies, both committed to service. "Dad taught us that skills are gifts," David said. "Gifts are meant to be shared. We're sharing." Sophia added, "Growing up, we saw kids Dad trained go from nothing to everything. That's power. We want that power too, the power to transform lives." Elena, still a social worker but now director of a non-profit Marcus had funded, spoke next. Marcus could have left Oakland, made millions elsewhere, but he stayed because home matters, because community deserves loyalty, because transformation happens where you're planted. He's trained over 300 mechanics. 85% are employed in the field. 92% stayed out of legal trouble. These aren't just statistics. These are lives saved, futures built, families supported. That's Marcus's real legacy. At 52, Marcus was approached by a major motorcycle manufacturer. "We want you to design our next flagship bike. 7-figure contract, complete creative control." Marcus considered it. The money would secure his family's future, fund his programs indefinitely. But there was a catch. "You'd relocate, work at our headquarters, 3 years minimum." Marcus declined. "I appreciate the offer, but I can't leave Oakland, can't leave St. Michael's, can't abandon the kids who need what I provide. Money matters, but presence matters more. I'm staying." The company was shocked. "Do you understand what you're turning down?" "Completely. And I'm still saying no, because some things are worth more than money. Community is one of them." Instead, Marcus negotiated a consulting contract. He'd design from Oakland, visit headquarters quarterly. They agreed. Less money, but maintained his presence. "You're crazy," a colleague said. "That was generational wealth. I have generational wealth, just not financial. I have relationships, trust, impact. That's richer than money." At 55, Marcus published a book, From Trash to Triumph: How One Motorcycle Changed Everything. It detailed his story, Reaper's investment, the transformation of St. Michael's, and the model others could replicate. The book became a bestseller. Profits funded the Reaper Memorial Foundation, providing grants to community organizations serving at-risk youth. "Reaper would have loved this," Elena said. "His name living on, his mission continuing. That's the point. Good people die. Good work doesn't. We keep it alive." At 60, Marcus slowed down. Health issues, decades of hard work taking toll. But he remained active, mentoring, teaching, guiding. David had taken over day-to-day operations of Marcus's garage, running it with the same values his father instilled. Sophia directed the Reaper Memorial Foundation. "Your kids are carrying the torch," Mrs. Henderson told Marcus. She was 103, still sharp. "You should be proud." "I am. They understand what matters. Service, community, generosity. That's all I hope to teach them." At 65, Marcus stood at St. Michael's, now celebrating 67 years of operation. He was being honored with the facility's highest recognition. The building's main workshop was being renamed Marcus Williams Innovation Center. "I don't deserve this," Marcus protested. "You absolutely do," the new director, one of Marcus's former students, said. "You've trained 400 kids, donated millions, volunteered thousands of hours. You kept this place alive. You're the reason many of us succeeded. This is small recognition for enormous impact." At the dedication ceremony, Marcus spoke to gathered children. 41 years ago, I was you, poor, forgotten, living in this building when it was falling apart. I had one skill, fixing things. I used that skill to help a stranger. That stranger brought 700 friends. They rebuilt this place. They rebuilt my life. You each have skills, talents, gifts. Use them, even when it seems pointless, even when nobody's watching, because you never know who's paying attention, who'll invest in you, who'll change your trajectory. I fixed a motorcycle with garbage. That act revealed me to people who believed in me. Your act, whatever it is, will reveal you too. To people who will invest in your potential. Be generous, be skilled, be brave. The rest will follow. At 70, Marcus's health declined significantly. Heart disease, doctor said months, maybe a year. He accepted it calmly. "I've lived fully. No regrets. I've helped hundreds, raised great kids, honored Reaper's investment. I'm ready." David and Sophia struggled with the news. "Dad, you can't leave. So many still need you." "I'll leave them, you two. You're better than me, stronger, more compassionate. They'll be fine." Eleanor held his hand. "You changed the world, Marcus." "No, I changed my corner of it. That's all anyone can do. Change your corner. Let others change theirs. Together, the whole world transforms." Marcus spent his final months ensuring continuity, documenting processes, training successors, securing funding for programs. "I won't leave gaps," he told his team. "Everything continues." That's how you honor legacy, by ensuring it outlives you. At 71, Marcus passed peacefully, at home, surrounded by Elena, David, Sophia, and 20 former students who'd become family. His funeral was massive, 3,000 people. Hell's Angels from across the country, former students, community members, officials. David gave the eulogy. Dad was born with nothing, given nothing, expected to be nothing, but he refused to accept that narrative. He taught himself mechanics, fixed a stranger's motorcycle. That stranger invested in him. Dad spent 57 years paying that investment forward, helping anyone who showed potential and needed opportunity. He trained 400 mechanics, saved St. Michael's twice, funded programs serving thousands, wrote books, gave speeches, changed policies, but most importantly, he showed up. Every day, for decades. That's the real legacy. Consistency, presence, commitment. Dad, thank you for showing us that generosity multiplies, that small acts create massive ripples, that broken things, bikes, buildings, lives can be fixed by people willing to work with whatever they have. We'll continue your work forever. 3,000 people stood, saluting, honoring, grateful. Marcus was buried beside Reaper. His headstone read, Marcus Williams, mechanic, mentor, miracle worker. He fixed more than motorcycles. His legacy continued powerfully. David and Sophia ran programs touching 10,000 kids annually. The Reaper Memorial Foundation distributed $5 million yearly. Marcus's garage trained 100 mechanics annually. 20 years after Marcus's death, St. Michael's celebrated its 87th anniversary, now serving 100 children, state-of-the-art facility, 100% graduation rate. David, now 61, addressed the crowd. My father fixed a motorcycle at 14, 700 bikers responded. That exchange, generosity met with gratitude, created everything you see today. Thousands of lives improved, millions of dollars invested, countless futures secured, all because one kid cared enough to fix something broken. Sophia, 59, added, Uncle Reaper taught Dad that honor recognizes honor. Dad taught us the same. We're teaching the next generation. That's how transformation persists, each generation passing wisdom forward, never forgetting where we came from, always remembering who invested in us. A new statue was unveiled, bronze Marcus at 14, kneeling beside a motorcycle, wrench in hand. The inscription, generosity begins with seeing what's broken and having courage to fix it. 50 years after the original rebuilding, 700 Hell's Angels rode to St. Michael's again, commemorating the day everything changed, led by the current Oakland chapter president, one of Marcus's first students. We ride to remember, he told the crowd, to honor Marcus, to honor Reaper, to honor every kid who needs someone to believe in them. This place represents our values, loyalty, honor, protecting the vulnerable. We'll defend it forever. The crowd, 5,000 strong, applauded. Children from St. Michael's watched in awe. Who are they? A 6-year-old asked. Heroes, an older kid explained. Just like Mr. Marcus was. They help people nobody else sees. They fix things others ignore. They're our family. I want to be like them. You can be. That's the point. Anyone can be a hero. You just have to care enough to try. That's Marcus's enduring lesson. That's what lives beyond him. The understanding that generosity isn't about what you have, it's about what you give, that skills are gifts meant to be shared, that investments in people pay infinite returns. Marcus proved it. With trash and determination, he fixed a motorcycle. With gratitude and resources, 700 bikers fixed his world. With purpose and persistence, Marcus fixed hundreds of futures. The cycle continues. David and Sophia fix futures now. Their children, Marcus's grandchildren, are learning the same values. The 4th generation of fixers, all traceable to one moment, one boy, one motorcycle, one choice to help without expecting anything back. That choice created everything, proved that generosity transforms, that community heals, that broken things can be fixed by people willing to work with whatever they have. Marcus's hands were broken and bleeding when he fixed that bike. But his heart was whole, his character intact, his generosity pure. Reaper recognized that, invested in it. Created conditions for Marcus to thrive. Marcus honored that investment, multiplied it, passed it forward through hundreds of lives. Those hundreds are passing it to thousands, those thousands to millions, all from one motorcycle, 1 week of secret work, one anonymous note. That's the power of seeing what's broken and fixing it. That's the miracle of generosity recognizing generosity. That's Marcus's story. That's Reaper's legacy. That's the Hell's Angels code. Honor, loyalty, protecting the vulnerable. It started with a broken motorcycle. It will never end, because broken things will always need fixing, and fixers will always rise. Inspired by Marcus. Guided by Reaper's investment, carrying the torch forever, one act of generosity at a time.